What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of A State of Loud. I'm your host, Chris Jefferson, and as always, we're bringing you a very special guest to this episode. In this episode, we have a gentleman where his name speaks for himself. He's an educator. He's a mentor. He's a business owner. He is a community activist. He born and raised in Jersey City. No matter where I go, I always hear this man's name, and it's always followed by a smile. If you know his name, then you probably know him too. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Toney Perkins. Mr. Toney Perkins, how you doing, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Peace, man.
Peace, man.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back on the show.
Yes, it is.
Once again.
It is. It's great to be here, man. Great to be here.
I'm happy to hear that, man. I know it's been a minute since the last time we got to sit down and chat.
Yeah.
A lot of life has been happening, a lot of beautiful things.
Different location.
Yes, sir. Sir.
It's nice, man. I appreciate this, man. Doing a real good thing here.
Thank you, man. I very much
Keep
appreciate
up the good work, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. It's a real compliment coming from you, and just want to put a good voice to the people to come out and talk. So
yeah.
But having you here, man, like I said in the intro, like everywhere we go, your name just rings bells in the streets. Everywhere you go, man. I know a little bit about your story, where you came from, and what you do. But I'm gonna start the show off how I start with everybody. Just being an advocate throughout Jersey City, not just for the community, but especially the youth. And really dedicating your work to that environment, to that lifestyle, being outside, not just being in an office, but being outside, doing the work, interacting with the youth. I see you bring youth to the Cove all the time. I see you bringing them to different events and interacting with it. And also knowing the people involved. I gotta ask, like, how did it start? How'd you begin getting into this type of work?
It was actually it's always been in my heart. You know, I thank Allah for putting it on my heart, right? And me coming up as a youth in the streets of Jersey City, it was never nobody who I looked up to as a mentor. You know, it was always the older brothers, you know, but I'm talking about as mentors that I can really sit and build with and spend quality time around. And the thing about it was actually Sandra Green.
Yes, Miss Sandra Green, Connected Vine.
Yes, sir. Exactly. And we were, you know, I knew Sandra for a while, and we were just talking, and she was like, TP, you know, you ever thought about mentoring and you could come up under me and all that kind of stuff? And I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I'm a huge advocate for giving back, man, and just giving back to the community for the things that I didn't have. Right? And you know, just knowing the climate of what's going on, being in the school system and seeing the dynamics of how things move and how the state of mind that our youth are in now. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, wow, they need me.
Yes.
So that's pretty much where it stemmed from. And me and Sandra actually, she took me to lunch. And we had a big discussion about it, man. And she was, you know, showing me the ropes. And it was just like, wow, I'm in. And then here comes the good brother, Dennis Febo.
Yes, sir.
You know, and he just came and presented it in a different light. Right, to me. And then, you know, me knowing Dennis, we actually we were honored at the same event. That's how we actually met.
Okay.
And you know, he just came and just schooled me, man, and just put it on my heart even more. And I just took it and ran with it. You know, I was always in the business of educating the younger generation anyway, so I might as well go ahead and do it and go full-fledged with it, and here I am.
Yes, sir. And it's interesting, like you said, where the opportunity just kind of came to you, like being friends with Miss Sandra Green for so long, and kind of being in a similar space. I know with her story, she used to volunteer at the juvenile facility and the prisons and everything, just doing it for free, and then kind of making that decision. All right, we're gonna get involved and take it serious now, get some money involved with it, which you should.
Right.
An opportunity just kind of came to you with that. And one thing you mentioned was like growing up, you didn't have that mentor that you could spend that quality time with and build with. It kind of led you into being an educator. So without having that mentor there, how, not necessarily how, but what was the journey that you embarked on, or that moment where you realized, like, okay, there's more I need to learn.
Yeah.
There's more that I want to understand about life.
Allah's guidance, man, and just having strong family support, right? And basically just really just knowing right from wrong and understanding it early. You know, I grew up, you know, I'm an athlete. So it was a lot different, you know, and I had my run-ins on the streets and, you know, with the law, minor stuff, because I had family members that did enough of that, so I didn't have to do it.
Got you.
You understood? So me seeing it, you know, and like I say today, our kids come out of the house and they don't see what they want to be. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So me coming up, I didn't see what I wanted to be. I seen what I didn't want to be.
Wow.
So that was the difference, right?
Yeah.
And sports kind of, you know, took over that for me. And, you know, gained a strong love for sports and just stayed active with that, you know, thanks to my pops and, you know, my family and my mom always pushing, you know, just to be better and just to be well-rounded, you know, but still go through life.
Yes, sir.
Right? And learn and, you know, touch that stove. Right?
Yes, sir.
And you know, and that's what I did. You know, I had my run-ins with the law, and it was an experience, man, that I wish on no one. Right? And just as a youth, me, the first time I learned my lesson. Right? And I'm just going to be straight up open with you, because a lot of, you know, I like to, I never get this opportunity to really share my story.
Yes, sir.
I'm always lending an ear and hearing somebody else's story. Right? And just that experience as a kid, you know, being arrested. And I felt like not in control of myself anymore. Right? Because I had to report to probation, give a urine. Right? If the urine was dirty, it was consequences and repercussions that I definitely weren't familiar with, right? Or even knew about, or even was concerned about.
Yeah.
Right?
At that age,
you know what I mean?
It's not, you're like, consequence, I'm trying to figure this life out real quick. Trouble.
Right. So, you know, that whole time, man, you know, it was just a great learning lesson for me.
Yeah.
And I just thank Allah, man, just for having the people that I did have around me, right, to guide me, you know. And the great thing about it, man, I'm thankful for it all.
Yes.
Because without it, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Very true. Very true. I know that's one thing I've always took away from our conversations. There's a line that stood out to me so strong. I still remember it to this day. Anytime I'm either thinking or just being present in the moment. You said to me last time on the show, I believe it was somewhere on the lines of like, your goal is to learn something new every day.
Yes.
Take everything as a learning experience in your life. And I started reframing the way I looked at my life in that light after that show. I remember looking at things and kind of flipping that switch of like, this is happening to me and more or less happening for me. Like, even if it was something negative, I used to look and go, what can I learn from this?
Right.
What am I taking away? What is the universe trying to show me right now? Like, just because it may feel uncomfortable as pain doesn't mean it doesn't hold value. And it's not teaching me something.
Definitely.
And I took that away from the last conversation we had. And it seems that that's been a way in which you moved most of your life, saying that you didn't have the examples of who you wanted to be, but you knew who you didn't want to be. And sports kind of looped you in with that. So using sports as I guess may have an outlet or an embrace, what did you take away from sports that really allowed you to hone in and focus on where you wanted to go in life?
Relationships, building relationships, right? And I look at it today and I always do the comparison, right? And as I move forward and continue to do that, there is no comparison, right? Because me playing Little League Baseball, right, down Greenville National, Bayside Park, right? I grew up on Randolph, right? but I'm playing with kids from all over the city. You understand what I'm saying? And interacting with kids from all over the city, making friends with kids from all over the city,
Yep.
right? And not really realizing that I will become good friends with them when we get older. In high school, still battling, still competing in high school sports and stuff like that. And just making relationships, and still to today, just seeing the benefits from it and how cool and I am with a lot of the brothers that I did. And we can always reminisce about Bayside Park and what we did down there, and the stories and the games and the battles and all of that good stuff that transpired down there to where we are today as men.
Yes.
Right? And the benefits from it. So I just look at it, and that's the thing, man. I look at the kids today, like I said, playing and interacting with kids from throughout the whole city. Now these kids can't even go in certain cities.
Yeah.
Part of the town, pardon me. Right? They grow up on Wilkinson. Now they can't go down here. They can't go here. They can't go there. And every time I have one of my youth riding with me, and we're going to our destination, and it's just like, TP, where we going? And my response is always, where can't we go? Right? And it's always disheartening when I have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because I always share with my youth that's not living. Right? How can you grow up, be born and raised in a city that you can't explore? Right? When you want.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's economic barriers that keep you from going to different parts of your state, let alone your city. And to even have a smaller boundary, wall, fence, whatever you may want to call it, due to lack of relationships. Right? It's like the gates are mentally there, and we're putting them there, so to speak, not necessarily anyone else, which is ironic, right? Because being Black History Month, like you look at the history in America that we've had, and we weren't allowed to go places because of someone else said it.
Exactly.
And now it's like we can't go because we said it.
Right.
To it. And then it started at a young age, man, a crazy young age, some of these stories that we hear out here. And now you mentioned with that, like growing up, you had the relationships with people all over Jersey City, growing up, playing sports, doing things. Why do you feel that's missing from the current generation?
Because a lot of the youth today, they don't have it. And what's happening is they're not getting to experience the other parts of the city. They're just they're not experiencing everybody, right? And using their own judgment of that person, right? Because I still ask these kids today, like, what is the beef? What is it?
Yeah.
No one they have yet to share that with me. You know, they always mention the same old story, but I'm still saying and still confused, like, how can one person that all of you guys didn't even know and want to harm your brother over that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's
mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know? And it's just so easy, and it comes off their tongue just so easy. You know, where I find it to be difficult to comprehend it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's just crazy to me, man. It's so unfortunate because we come up, right? We grow up looking to explore the world.
Yes. Hey, say it again, please, right?
Right?
Yes.
We grow up looking to explore the world because we're always told there's a big world out there. You need to see it. And this is things that I was told.
Yes.
I'm not even sure if that's even being told to these kids now.
Yeah.
I know I share it, right? But in my household, that was the thing. my father is an entertainer, so he kind of explored the world, and he brought his experiences back,
Yes, sir.
right? And he shared it. So me seeing that and knowing that, it's just like, wow, I want to go overseas. I want to go to Amsterdam. I want to go to Berlin and do all of that stuff and see how they live and what their culture is like, right? Opposed to mine. So to sum it up, let's live
Yes, sir.
instead of surviving all the time.
That's the word, right? That's a powerful word to use. Let's live instead of surviving. I like to use that word because it's growing up in that type of environment. Like, I grew up in East Orange most of my young life, and my mom got us out of there when I was, I think, like 13. Moved to the suburbs, different life, different environments, quiet. You don't hear sirens. No one's outside.
Right.
Like, first couple weeks sleeping there, you like, Ma, like, yo, what is this?
Right.
This is crazy. It's quiet. I can't sleep. Right. Something's going on. This is. I feel like I'm in a horror film.
Right.
Somebody's gonna come in through the doors or something. Lock the house up. This is wild out here.
Right.
And living in, even going to it, changing up the environment. Only recently did I read about, like, being in survival mode. If you, depending on why you're in survival mode, if you don't become aware of it, you can't change it.
Not at all.
And in the survival mode in which a lot of youth, and just not youth, but the people in general that live in these communities, that type of survival mode is relative to being at war. Because in a way you are. You can't go to certain places. You can't do certain things. Violence is happening around. It stays with you, put you in a survival mode. So even if you take a youth out of his environment, his mind's still locked into that. I'm looking over my shoulder. Who's this? Who's talking to that? And I mean, I've had friends that have been incarcerated and got out, and you bring them home, and you sit at a coffee shop, and they just like they looking around, and you're like, that's a real thing. It's stuck with you.
But the thing about it, Chris, I'm not a stranger to that.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, my lady is like, what's the matter?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just an observer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just securing our area.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And it's just who we are.
Yeah.
And how the environment that we came up in.
Yeah.
And just embodied.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I noticed hanging out with you, like, and even I remember I spent a day with you. We went it was a Friday, we went to the fish market. We were cruising around Jersey City. Like, there's a different aura you walk with that I see now. Almost like I want to say it's like a sense of freedom you have moving throughout Jersey City. Being here for so long and even seeing so much. How did you get to that space of being like, no, I'm good. I can just roam. I can be here. This is where I live. And still have a sense of calm being here.
Allah. Right? Every day, all day, He's with me. So at that, if that's my mindset, who's gonna harm me? Who's gonna do anything to me? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, on a ground level, it's just like, I've done nothing to anybody. Right? Why would you want to harm me?
Yes, sir.
But I still understand that everybody might not be in their right mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And don't know. And just maybe today and how it is, they want that reputation. So, but for the most part, it's just like, just being familiar, and I know things have changed. I know the streets have changed. The people have changed, but it all stays the same at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Very true.
Who should I fear? Only my Lord.
Mm.
I can't walk around Jersey City, my home, in which I call my home, and feel like I can't be safe here. Why not?
Yeah.
And just going back to, people saying, oh, this happened to me. Like, I'm living now, and I ask the question, whether it's positive or negative to me. And it's like, okay, you're going through hard times, and everybody says, why me? Right? We always ask that question, why me?
Yeah.
We always, now it's just reciprocating. The response is just like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not me? And that's when I just take the walk to the mirror and just look in the mirror and try to figure out who I see. Right? And then ask myself, why not you?
Yeah.
And if we constantly ask that question, we know how to attack the issue at hand. Right?
Yes.
So that's the state that I'm in. And it took a while to get to that because I was one of those people always saying, why is this happening to me? Right? So now it's just, why not me?
I agree with you. Why not me? Right.
Right.
Absolutely, man. Like you said that at one point it wasn't always like that. Do you remember, like, if there was an incident, a time, or an event that kind of changed that for you?
It's no specific time, but me just having the mindset of I can't control everything. Right?
Yeah.
So anything that's pretty bad that's going to happen to us is probably out of our hands.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
We're not going to self-harm. We're not going to hurt ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
We want the best for ourselves. Right? So now it goes a step deeper.
Yes, sir. It
Right?
definitely does. Oh man, because we're about to go down that road. Because and I do want to go down that road with you, because in order to completely let go of the desire of controlling your path, which is not easy by any means, because
Right.
inherently we are most of us are fear-based beings, and walk with that purpose is why you need to get to the front of the line. It's why when you go to the airport, everybody rushing on a plane when they land. They first off, it's that small piece of, I need to move, I need to get out of here, I need to be in control of my environment. When I'm not, I start to act all God of myself. And now you mention Allah very often, and you are a man of faith. Like, how much of that influence? How much does that influence your path that you currently walk now?
Huge. Great question. Huge. Huge. And once we take that shahada, right? Everything before is washed away. So right now, me, 16 years in, I don't even remember what happened prior. Right? So everything is from shahada on, right? And everything is just current. So, but the mindset the mindset is just different, man.
Yeah.
And I knock nobody's faith. It is what it is. Everybody has their own belief. But for me, Islam is it just defines me so much, right? And it's just so amazing. Like, you just find out, you find out things about yourself as you experience things and you go through life.
Yes.
Right? Me, I'm so reserved, right? Sometimes people say you're not human,
Okay.
right? Because you don't express
Yeah.
or you don't feel or whatever the case may be. And it's just like when Allah put Islam on my heart, right? It was a feeling that I've never experienced or ever felt in my life. So once that happened, I was like, I am human. I am human. I can feel, right? And it's just overwhelming to me, man. And just speaking in about Allah, man, it's just, it can really get me emotional,
Oh, absolutely.
right? But it's just a blessing, man. And I'm just so thankful for everything, right? Even being here.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate that.
Definitely, brother.
Bro, I appreciate you sharing that, because it's when you speak, even as you were speaking there, I could feel the energy in the room change, and I can feel the energy and the emotion you put behind your faith, the way you feel about it. It's something I appreciate you sharing with me, because I know as my journey, like I've done a bit of research into all of the faiths that we've had out there. I was raised Baptist growing up, and then I got to a point, I don't even know what age I was at. I just started looking around, questioning things, learning about everything else, and that is one thing about the Islamic faith that I've found. I can't even use the word. That's the piece about it that you really, it's difficult to explain. When I see the brotherhood that is created, I see the faith, I see I still can't even use a final word to explain that emotion as well as you put it. But it's something that I still to this day see as being just so beautiful. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. And especially when I hear you talk, like, literally I could call you on the phone anytime we speak, man. I'm like, it's different. Right. It's definitely different. The energy you hold, it allows me to fully understand why you are who you are. And always makes me even more curious. I know even when you work with some youth, you invite them to come down with you. And I'm always just like, that's a beautiful thing, to want to bring people in, to pull people in, to just talk, to understand, to listen, to learn, to be a part of the community. And there's not many, at least I could say in an American culture, there's not many, not such a level of togetherness that I see in the same way. Right. That I love and just appreciate. Even the language is just beautiful to this day. Like, it's one of the languages on my list to learn. Yeah,
very difficult. One of the most difficult.
Oh yeah, but you understand why once you start hearing it speaking. I'm like, bruh, like, it is different. Right, it is different. It sounds like poetry no matter what you're saying. Right, bro. Seriously, seriously. I hear some songs. There's a song with Kevin Gates where I believe he's saying a prayer in the first 16 bars, and I was like, I now have to go see exactly what he's saying right now, because that just hits different than anything else. Definitely, like, I'm sorry, like, you guys out here doing very great jobs as musicians, but it's not hitting like that. It's something different. So I appreciate you sharing it with me, and I do understand, like, how faith can, it almost becomes a need when you begin to understand you don't control anything. Where you're kind of just walking, that term, right? Walking in faith. That's it. Follow my path.
Yeah. I'm young. I'm a baby out here. Yeah. I'm 16 years old.
I'm telling you, that's a secret now. That's a secret, because I always ask for him. I'm like, Toney be out here. Like, TP is out here. How does he keep that same vibe? But it makes sense now. You're looking at everything kind of brand new. You're not walking around with bias that you may have had at a younger age. You're still aware of it.
Definitely.
And you use that to learn, but you're open to look at things in a new light. And, like, I have to ask, with that type of mentality, how does that affect how you approach the youth that you work with?
Just you hear that word that you use, approach, right? So that's big for me. My approach, right? I understand when I read the referral, right, and the needs and the reason for a mentor, right? So when I read that, and that's the youth that I'm going to see, I have to be mindful of my approach, right? It's always going to be in a positive manner, right? Because, like I say, whenever I say anything, or my greeting is always peace, right? Because what I'm giving, I always want to receive. So if I'm starting with peace, I have to get it back. Right?
Yeah.
And when my youth enter my car, greet me with that. Right? Put it on your heart. Right? And that's going to change the whole vibe.
Yes, sir.
And the energy and how we can move forward. You understand?
Yes,
so
sir.
if we're starting with peace, we can end with it.
Yes, sir.
So now it's just building with these kids. And a lot of the youth, we have to lead by example.
Yes, sir.
Especially as men.
Yes, sir.
Right? So now it's a blessing for me when I'm interacting with these youth. And then, because I'm always in my CFT meeting, I'm always giving the description of who I am and what I stand on.
Yes.
Right? And the question is always from the mom. From the mom, because the dad is not around. You Muslim? Yes. So when I'm leading and I'm walking that, and Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, man. I had 3 youth convert to Islam.
Wow.
Right? And they say, TP, you can make me a Muslim?
Wow. Okay. I gotta hit a reply on that. I'm like, bro, okay, bro. You gotta sit down. You gotta you gonna learn. You just gotta be quiet.
That's it. And it's and it's like, can I what? You can make me a Muslim? It's no way I can do that, young fella. I don't have that kind of power. And everything, it just follows up with, you already a Muslim. Put it on your heart. And only Allah can do that. And you'll know when you're ready to be a Muslim. So no, I can't make you a Muslim. I can't do that. And it's just so overwhelming for me, man, and intrigued how they are.
Yeah.
Right? And I just think we don't give our youth enough credit.
I think you're right. I think that's absolutely true.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we understand their issues. Right? But sometimes we can't really relate to them because we haven't experienced it.
Yep.
So we're just giving information, right? And then we might do our research and due diligence on how to service those issues. Right?
Yeah.
And then we try to make it organic. And the only dilemma is it being received? Because we like to look at, we highlight a lot of times the success stories,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a little discouraged sometimes when the youth are home and then they have a shortcoming and they get arrested again, right? So they're back in detention. And then it's just like, okay, what can I do different? Is he getting, something is missing,
That's right.
right? I'm not touching something, right? For him to really, really understand that that's not the way.
Yes, sir.
So I have to, reevaluate my approach.
Yes, absolutely. Because like you said, he's not hearing something.
He's not hearing
getting
something.
right. And that speaks volumes to your level of awareness, maturity, leadership, and just understanding of human beings, right? Because most of us, I don't want to say most of us, there are people, but as human beings want to be in that control space, right? We see a lot of people in this space tend to come into the room trying to tell the youth what they need to do, instead of showing them or asking them what they need. Like you said, giving them the credit that they deserve. And even more recently, anytime I've come across a youth where we put everything into place that should have worked and it didn't, and we sit back at the drawing board and you know that feeling, you like, man, it was 3-4 good months. 3-4 good months, and now we're back here. What are we gonna do? All right, back to the drawing board, and it can get discouraging. But that's when you say, all right, it's not over. Like, still recover from this. We're all right. What are we gonna do better next time? It's not over. And I think that's a mentality not enough people take when it comes to our youth, of giving them patience, giving them time. Because even like you said about yourself today, you're only 16 years old now.
Yeah.
So it's like even you had a point where you had to live life, go through some stuff, learn from it to kind of get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. This is where my learning starts.
That's it.
And to understand the learning never stops.
Never.
And that it brings us to a sense of like needing to create more safety nets to make mistakes in life. I know growing up and even as an adult, having certain safety nets allows you to take more risk, to learn about life, to understand it. But I feel like we do shame too often without giving enough credit, understanding like this is a young person. They may not have the guidance I had, the information I had to get to where they want to be, but that's okay. You're not done. We're not done with you yet. There are no bad people. You just need to be educated on things, and that's a huge thing I see now with society and this work. It's almost like we like being mad at people. We like pointing a finger and saying, "Hey, you did something wrong. Shame on you." And it boils down to that ego thing and control. It's such a pivotal piece, right? To truly finding confidence in yourself, peace within life is letting go. I'm not going to compare myself to anybody. This is my journey alone. If I compare it to someone else, only thing that's going to come is either I'm going to feel better about myself because I'm comparing myself to someone that doesn't know what I know, or I'm going to feel worse about myself because I'm comparing myself to someone that knows more than me. And it's kind of a losing battle no matter who you compare yourself to, right? So it's a very powerful statement with our youth.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, please do.
How important, how powerful is failure?
Ooh, bro. To me, at this point in my life, I look at failure as one of the greatest gifts God can give me. Because it's easy to say that sitting here now in this studio, right, like where I am in my life now, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the monumental amount of failures I had in my life. From every single part, every single part of my life, which I've progressed, leveled up, gotten to a better place, started a new path, there was always some extreme failure that started it and triggered it. Even more recently, I forgot how long ago. Maybe it was 4 years ago at this point. I broke my collarbone. No, it wasn't even broke my collarbone. That was into it. That was another mistake. See, so it was. I remember I got to a point in my life. I was making good money. I was self-sustainable. Had a good relationship. Friends were good. I had everything that quote unquote the American dream, and I still wasn't happy. Right. I'm like, I thought I made it. I thought this was it. I'm going to be comfy and ride this out for the rest of my life. And I got to the point where I was like, nah, this ain't it. Started acting out. Started doing things out of my character. Decided, okay, I got to change stuff. I got to get what's going on. There's something I don't know.
Something you don't know.
And so I need to go find it out. And I started living life that way. Made some mistakes. God decided I need to wake you up again. I broke my collarbone riding a bike on a sunny day. Right. And I said, oh, I'm not learning. Because he's definitely trying to teach me something right now. I'm going back into habits.
That's right.
And I had a couple months sitting alone, learning. And even when I was healed up and working on my own, I decided I needed to completely let go of every piece of support. I needed to let go of every crutch. I needed to face every fear. I was in a relationship, and I was told everything was good. And I was like, hey, I need to be alone for a while. Right. And she was like, where are you going? What's wrong? I'm like, nothing. You're amazing. I just got to be alone. I'll hit you up when I feel like this part of my journey is over. And if you're still here, cool. If not, not. And I remember her asking me, how are you so certain? And I said, well, if we're meant to be, you'll still be here. If not, we're not meant to be. And then I should be open to whatever comes my way on my path. So, and even throughout that, I've had failures. This show, I've had failures. There's times where the cameras will go in and out of focus. I'm still worrying about that today, looking over, like, I hope TP's in focus right now. Like,
I got you.
Like, making sure you're good. So for me, failure, I look at that as that's the gold at the end of the rainbow, bro. Like, you want to level up, go mess up.
And the reason I ask you that is because failure stunts growth. Right? Mm-hmm. Because everybody is so afraid of it.
Yes, sir.
Like, you're fortunate.
Yeah.
To embrace failure.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And move forward.
Yes.
Right? And grow from it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have that.
Not at all. But I think for me, it stems from being okay with pain. Mm-hmm. Getting to the point of realizing pain is temporary, just like happiness. Everything is always fleeting.
And life.
Yes, sir. You're trying to just get back to center, which is where peace is. That's right. If you're in pain, eventually get back to center where peace. Mm-hmm. If you're in happiness, same thing. It's always fleeting. And being okay with pain got me there. Not just physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain. Right. Being okay and realizing that if you have pain, it's here to teach you. So go take a risk. Go take a chance. Go walk outside. Go learn something, and it'll teach you something. So it's something I hold dear with me now. I appreciate that question, man.
Yeah,
it's a huge piece, huge piece. And I'm going to ask the same question, like, because it seems that to me you're very much in the same way. Learn, grow, take any failure I have as a lesson and move forward with it. How have you treated failure in your life to get to where you are?
I was one of those people afraid of it. Right? And then I just came to the realization of it. And it's just like, okay. And I'm gonna just use something very small and minute, right? Drilling a nail in the wall. Mm-hmm. Right? I've always been intrigued with carpentry, right? Putting things together, all that kind of stuff. But the failure, right? You drill a nail in the wall. If you've never done it, or you're not as good as you think you are, or you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't go in properly.
Yes.
Right? And then things happen. The nail falls down. Falls on the floor, or you don't even have it clicked the right way. You got it in reverse.
Yep. Right? Yep. Stuff ain't working right.
Exactly. So I was like, wow, I'm failing at this. But do I stop? I can't stop. So now, as I keep going, repetition, right? Now it's just like, whew,
Yep.
whew,
Yep.
whew. But I would have never known that after the first failure, I would have stopped
Yeah.
and not proceeded to keep trying, right? And overcome that failure, right? Because you did it wrong the first time. If you keep doing it wrong, eventually you're going to get it right.
Yes. Yes. If there's no easier way of saying it, it's that you're eventually going to get it right. You have to trust the process, that's the funniest thing, because that's literally one of my biggest questions is how can we convince? How does one convince another person that, hey, if you keep trying, eventually you'll succeed, if they've never experienced that feeling?
It's just, you have to go through it. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
If we don't go, I like to live my life in the knowing. Right? So how do we get to that point? It's going through things, experiences, right? Lifing.
Yes.
We're lifing. Right? We're doing something every day different. Every day is a different obstacle. Right? How we attack it, how we overcome the obstacle. Right? So it's just like, just moving forward and just keeping that mindset, because my thing is, how you think is how you're going to be at all times.
Yes.
Right? So we have to just stick to the course, right? Stay the course. Embrace the setbacks. You know, when your car's in that mud and you're trying to get out and it's rocking, it's going back, and then you mash the gas again just to try and go forward. Right? That's us in life.
Yeah.
Right? We getting knocked down and we're trying to go forward and put our best foot forward to move, man. And that's how I just like to approach it. It's gonna be, if we don't know or we don't do it, how are we gonna know?
That's true. Very true. Curiosity is one of the strongest keys to progress, right? Okay, I failed now. Well, what happens if I do it again? What happens if I try it another way? I almost feel like curiosity is in a strong battle with hope. Like they kind of go hand in hand. Like you got to at least be a little curious.
I have to.
You get up tomorrow and do it again, it might be a little better.
I tell my son that. My son is 9 years old. He's playing basketball now.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
Left-handed kid, right? He's an athlete like his father. It just needs to be pulled out.
Yep.
Right? And I'm telling him on that, when he's working on that layup, I said, kid, he's trying to make it and make a layup to go all net. I said, kid, check it out. I can make it a lot easier for you. Hit that square box.
Right. Right. Yep.
Hit it. Boom.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yes, sir.
And that's the thing, man. Just trying to make everybody around you's life a little easier.
Yes.
That's all we got to do, man. And that's the reward for me, man. With these youth, dealing with them, like your issues, and I understand them, what your household is like, right? But let me make it a little easier for you when you let me take your mind away from that. You come with me and put you on a different mindset.
Yes, sir.
So this is great, man. This is called a candid conversation.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's how I like it to be, man. I'm fascinated by powerful people, to understand, to learn, because it helps me grow. Yeah. And I never really understood that for a while. I thought I was just curious. But in reality, I learn so much from powerful people, especially just conversations we've had and what the tokens I take away to put into my life. Either it's teaching me something new, reinforcing something I learned, or bringing me back to present of what I'm currently doing. So that's why I appreciate us being here with everything and having these conversations, because I think they need to be had, right? Like I think it's because we move within the circles we do. It's kind of our norm. The people we talk to, this is the way they talk. This is the way they move. They're accepting those things, and I think there's a lot of people that don't realize the level of greatness in which you seek is all around you. Like, they didn't come see you. They come over to the juice spot, the green spot, I'm sorry, and see you sitting out front. I remember in the springtime, you sit down in a chair. I purposely drive down the street. Let me see if TP outside real quick. Like, you can literally go up and just have a conversation, and people don't realize you don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be The Rock. You don't have to be Michael Jordan. You don't have to be Kobe Bryant. You don't got to be LeBron. You don't got to be none of those dudes to figure it out. Like, their key is that they figured it out. They found out where they could channel it, and they said, I'm just never going to stop. I'm going to keep getting better every day. And whatever that it may be for anyone, that knowledge they see could just be within the community around them. It could be people that they may know, whether it be a teacher, a coach, a mentor, a coworker, aunt, an uncle, cousin. If your family and your parents aren't there to help you, there's someone that can kind of guide you. So that's why I think it's important these conversations are had. Let people know that, hey, locally, this support is here.
That's right.
And you can come find us.
Yeah,
That's
important, man. It's important.
Absolutely, man. So I definitely want to ask you, because this is the first episode of Black History Month. To me, this year it's a little bit different for me with the work I've been doing, the progress I've been making, and just where I'm at in my life. It definitely holds a deeper meaning to me. So I have to ask, who would you say is the most influential person that you've learned about when it comes to Black history or Black people in American history?
It has to be El Hajj Malik El Shabazz. Peace be upon him. It just thinking about it, everything that's transpiring and taking place throughout the world, everything going on in Gaza, right? And life. And I just go back and just listen to some of his speeches, and they just touch on everything that's going on today. And this was 30, 40 years ago. He was making these speeches.
Yes, sir.
50 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And how they resonate and still exist and so significant today.
Yes.
And what's going on. And I'm so everything is circle. It goes around, right? And it always comes back. And that's just something that he's just always coming back.
Yes, sir.
Brother Malcolm X.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I would say Brother Malcolm.
Absolutely. And I definitely understand
the
virtue. I remember reading his book. I was in my early 30s when I first read his book. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. Even as I grow now, a lot of teachings come back.
Yeah.
When you look at the world and you look at what's being built, what's not being built, the conflicts, the situations, the people involved. Yeah, it's he was trying to share a message that most people weren't ready for, but at the same time was desperately needed. Desperately needed. Like I remember, I remember the first time I was traveling overseas and leaving the country and just kind of taking some of the lessons he talked about and leaving the country and how you're treated and how you're respected. And you look at it and you're like, wow, like this is no joke. Like he lived in an era where we didn't have social media. You couldn't take pictures and share your trips.
Right.
And the newspapers weren't telling you these things. The news in America definitely wasn't. And he came back and he was just like, "No, I gotta tell y'all some stuff. Gotta tell you what I've seen." Right. And it's such a like you said, it kind of goes in a circle, right? And when you connect it, even on a religious level, biblical level, in the Bible they stated, man, I'm probably gonna get all this wrong. With the Ten Commandments, went up. See the Ten Commandments come down. He's like, yo, I'm paraphrasing like horrible, but you know what I mean.
I get you.
Comes down. He's like, yo, I got to talk to you about these Ten Commandments. We're just talking to God. Like, this is how we gonna live. And the people are like, what? Nah, that can't be. You was going. This is the rules now. Nah, we can't believe it. You're now changing our reality. And you look at him, and he leaves. Travels around, meets people, talks to people, talks about the connection between African Americans and those in the homeland of Africa. Treating one the same, building together. Comes back, wants to share it, and they're like, nah, we're not ready for that yet. We can't have, man, you gotta calm down, bro. We just trying to figure this out right now.
Right,
And it's almost as if the universe is just trying to tell you something. Like it goes in that circle. And it is just, to me, that ignites that willingness and that urge and that hunger to learn. Because I'm like, if we see in the circles, it means we ain't learning something yet.
That's right.
It means it ain't got to a point yet of understanding yet. Maybe there's something I need to figure out. I need to learn. I need to listen to that's being missed if these type of behaviors are not only being shown, but also written about throughout history. What are we missing that it continues to happen over and over again? So absolutely, Malcolm X's life, man, to this day, I tell people, read that book every couple years. Realize what you're going to take out of it. Every young man I meet, I'm like, read this. I don't care what your nationality is, read it.
Definitely.
Read it.
And what's most what sticks out to me, and big up to everybody, all the brothers, the Martins, the Huey P's,
Yes.
all of them. Everybody, man, who fought through that struggle and had a voice.
Yes, sir.
Right? Because that's what the key was. Right? You're feeling some way.
Yes.
Of the way you're being treated, or policies that aren't in place or in favor of your people.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you have the courage to speak on it.
Yeah.
Right? So now they say in the subways, you see it, say something.
Pray everywhere. Call this number. And you're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
This ain't my job.
Yeah.
I had to pay to be in the first place.
Exactly. But these brothers were doing this at 18, 19 years old.
Yes. 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 And people don't realize that.
Yeah.
When you read these books, you see the movie and you see Denzel and you're like, oh, he must have been a grown man when this, and you're like, no.
Right.
This is 17-year-old Malcolm X when they're starting to tell these things. Like he was an extremely young man when this happened, and to have that knowledge. Martin Luther King too. He was.
Yeah,
I believe he graduated like 16 or something like that.
All of them
like
brothers,
when
man.
you see how far ahead of the time, it's like
Right.
it makes me question like how can we get the youth of today that curious, that involved, and that inspired to want to stand up and to believe in something like that?
Some can take it on if they go through it. Others might be able to take it on just because they see it. But at the same time, as mentors, as men, right? We have to give it to them and put it on their heart. Right? And make them understand that. Like, you haven't experienced it, you haven't went through it, but it's all around you. Right? Racism is alive and well.
Yes, sir.
And just going through certain situations that never change.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Our issues still remain the same. From years ago,
Yes.
decades ago, centuries ago.
Yes.
Right? Our issues still remain the same. So the struggle, like they say, the struggle continues. and it'll always continue.
Yes, sir.
Right? But my biggest thing is, how do we reprogram our people?
Yes.
Right? Because things that happen and that transpire and that we go through, it's only our culture who do certain things.
Yeah.
And lack certain things. And I understand the lack of resources. I get all of that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like in Islam and as a man and in life, and I'm going to keep referencing Islam because this is where I get it from.
Please do.
Right? What I want for me is what I want for you. Right? And that can come off my tongue real smooth and easy. It's nothing difficult about me even sharing that with you. Right? What I want for me is what I want for you. How is it that is so difficult for us to display?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we have that mindset, it would definitely minimize a lot of the killings.
Yes, sir.
Right? And the crime against one another.
Yes.
So just the things, man, that Brother Malcolm, man, just always just put on my mind is just stand up, be vocal when you feel your people are being mistreated. Right? You know, the saying you fall for stand. What is it?
If stand for nothing,
fall for anything.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
So it's just like, and that had the effect on me because I noticed a change in me. Right? Like I shared with you earlier, I'm very reserved. Right? But zero tolerance now for a lot of things with me.
Yes.
Right? More vocal. I'm a better listener than talker. Right? But now seeing things that's going on in the community and that's not beneficial for our people or humanity.
Yes, sir.
I'm more vocal about it. And that's what I've learned from Brother Malcolm. I take that especially from him. Right? Just being vocal on issues that need to be addressed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whew. Man, what a show.
Yeah.
Seriously, man, but and we could go on for days, and we're definitely going to have to do this again. But I want to thank you for coming on the show, just sharing your mind, your intellect, and your journey with us, especially with me and everyone out there watching today. It's always a pleasure to just be in the room with you. I look forward to doing more to work with you and being out here and seeing what's more to come. I know you got things in the works and the plans coming out, and you're definitely going to have my support with it. So if you want now, take your time. You can take a look in that camera right there. Let the people know what you got going on, how they can follow you, see it, and support you, and let the people know.
Yeah. Toney Perkins. I am Toney Perkins on Instagram. Support the brand. Okay now. Clothing line. It's popping, man. Only knowledge nourishes our wisdom, as me and Brother Chris just displayed, man. So constantly support Toney Perkins on Facebook. Toney Perkins on Twitter. Just constantly support. And remember, no one knows as much as all of us. Peace.
I appreciate that very much. And if you guys enjoy what you heard here, please check all the information down in the description below. We're going to have all of TP's information down there. Please support his merch, support his movement, support him just in general out here doing the work. Just like everybody that's out here doing the work, we need as much support as possible. But if you guys enjoyed the show and what you heard and what you here today and all the shows that we have, I'm going to ask you as always, like, subscribe, get the notification, share episode with a friend. Give me a Facebook like, whatever you want to do. Just show some support to the podcast and get the word out there. This is what we're going to do. We want to bring more people like TP to you guys out there. So without further ado, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, it's nothing but love. Peace.